Hello. I am on MCC right now, to be clear, and this is gonna be the Cortana tutorial. So if you were in full game, you would normally carry over a hammer and a frag or plasminate, hopefully, which would make the start of this level a little bit easier. But I am starting from IO, but it doesn't really matter. So first thing you're gonna do is just some movement. You can jump through there and get a little slide jump. But we're just gonna be walking to the first Cortana moment here. Go through the left part of this door and you don't get stopped, or you can alternatively jump through it as it opens. Now around here there's a Cortana moment or a Gravemind moment. You want to get down the hole over there before it ends, and that'll overlap it with another moment which will skip the second moment. To do that you need to go kind of fast. In ILs you would use 2 nades like this to boost yourself, and then you would use diagonal walking, and then a slide jump at this little ramp at the end. I didn't get hit by my second nade, so I might not make it here. I barely made it. In full game you would use, to make that easier, you can use the hammer and just 1 nade, and it makes it way easier if you carry over. Then we're gonna go for brute shot. It's a safe strat, and you're gonna want to jump up here. Now here you can actually walk up this ledge a little bit. So before you do the brute shot jump, walk a little bit up. Throw the bubble once you get up here. And this guy can have a shotgun. Be very careful of him. He can have a sword, a hammer, or a shotgun. He's only really a 30 if he has a shotgun, so it's a 1 in 3. But going around to the right there is the safest way to deal with them. And then you're just gonna do what I did there. You're not too in risk of dying as long as you go kind of fast, because the flood are just slow to turn into like the spider flood that turn into the guys who sit in the wall are really slow to transform, so you can just kind of run through as they're spawning. Just a lot of Cortana moments here. Remember to use diagonal walking to go a little faster, and some slide jumps here and there. Here we're gonna go for a deployable cover and pick up a sword and hammer here. You can keep your brute shot, but I think getting sword and hammer is better rather than hammer and brute shot. Throw the DC there. You don't want to throw it too high. Like, you don't want to throw it like against here, you want to throw it more against here, otherwise it's gonna bounce weirdly. Because we're gonna use this jump up here later in the level. It did bounce kinda far this time, kind of far back, so I'll have to remember that, but it's still fine. So in this room we're gonna do a box launch. Melee this box once, gets a better angle, and we're gonna try to launch towards that camo right there. So melee it once, do a launch. Take sword out the moment you launch, like as soon as possible. You want to get sword out, so you're not waiting for the animation to finish. And normally that tank flood would be closer, and you would have to sword him out of the way. He's not on this seat, he's being really quick though, so he's moved out of the way. And then there can be a flood on the wall there as well, so you want to throw a spike grenade on him if he's there. Okay, I did. And that spike grenade, you don't actually have to hit him if he's there. It's enough to throw it near him and it'll stop shooting, actually. In this part it's important to not get blocked. You want to go as fast as possible, so the flood don't have time to engage on you, really. If you are getting shot a lot, you can throw a spike grenade or shoot them with a brute shot. Spike grenade is the best. Not really that much of an issue, but yeah. Activate camera around where I did. And then we're just gonna walk through this. In this Cortana moment, you want to start meleeing to delay the checkpoint for the next room as late as possible. You want to stop meleeing around the time when it ends. So, like right when it ends, stop meleeing. So you get a checkpoint before this room. Now this is Hell Room. There's a couple of ways to do it. I'll show the safest and easiest first. Do a brute shot jump up here. Go grab one of these camos, activate it instantly. Crouch jump up here. Turn around, do a hammer jump up, and you're up. Now there's a faster way to do this. Like, there's basically two viable methods of getting up here. This is the faster way. Now it's a bit risky as you saw, but what we're doing is we're combining a spike grenade boost with a brute shot boost, like that. Now it's important that you don't stand right on top of the spike grenade, because you'll die to the spikes every time. So if you stand like on the side, you still get a boost from it, like that, but it doesn't kill you. So that's what I'm trying to do. And also if there's a spider there blocking you, just shoot him off with the brute shot before jumping up. And throw the bubble. It's a bit risky as you saw, but it's actually fairly, like, it's not that bad. You could go for this in full game if you wanted. But it's a bit risky depending on what spawns you have. You can also get blocked. Like jumping backwards here, you can get blocked while trying to do the jump. I'll try to survive one more time. But as you can see, it's, if you don't have the right spawns and you keep getting shot, then it can be pretty risky. This should make it. Then here, there's another Cortana moment around here. What I like to do is go for slide jump off this edge, and then do hammer boosts backwards. Do 4 boosts, and jump as soon as you land. And that kind of automatically, if you do it right, gets you really far. Once you're done with the 4 boosts, start meleeing to delay a checkpoint for the next launch. And stop meleeing. Well, you would stop meleeing around this point. Don't delay it too long, because then you won't get it at all. Then we're gonna do a launch of this box. Problem is, it's not. We need to angle it differently, so we get a bigger launch. So we're gonna use a plasma grenade for that. So if you throw a plasma grenade around here, then the box gets angled better for a launch. So you're gonna get on top of the box. Crouch, or throw a nade around here, then you're gonna crouch, and then you're gonna look around here at this purple part and swing. And yeah, the timing for the swing is I don't really have a good advice for it. Just like get a feel for it, I guess. That was not a good angle, but I mean, that still works. Alternatively, if you want to go a bit faster, you can throw the plasma as you're jumping. And that's a bit better. Or that's a bit faster. That's what I usually do. Like, your position on the box doesn't matter that much, but as long as you as long as you stand in the general area where I do, like around here, is fine. That was quite a bad one. That was also quite a bad one. That time I was standing too far back. And I'm going too late now. That was quite a good example. So you want to pick up this camo if you can. It's not, you can pick it up later because we'll be coming back through here, but I recommend picking it up now. It's better if you can. There's also plasmas underneath here which you can grab, which is pretty good. Oops. And there's a Cortana or there's a Gravemind moment here, and I'm just gonna activate it to show you what's going on really. So we're gonna wanna hammer boost through this moment in order to, just like we did at the start of level, we're gonna overlap it with the next one. So you're gonna have to hammer boost through here, and then you go through this door. Wait, you'll have to wait for it to open, and then continue boosting through. Go around this pillar, same with this door, and then the second moment starts right there. So that's how far you need to get. So that's a bit of a bad checkpoint. I need to double revert here to show you. But it's essentially just hammer boosting. The ceiling's pretty low here, so you're gonna wanna hold crouch while you're doing the hammer boosting. Other than that, it's not much to it. Oops. Not the best at this launch right now, apparently. That's a very high one. But still works, I think. Yep. Got a checkpoint there as well, that's interesting. Pick up these nades. So jump, crouch, and the hammer at sort of the apex of your jump. Do 2 boosts. Wait for the door to open, then hammer through. Go around the pillar, and keep boosting through. I like to have around I like to have 25 ammo left here, and then you can break this in 2 by doing one regular hammer melee and then doing a hammer swing. I like to do a nade boost there to start off this moment. You're gonna do. I like to do 3 hammer boosts and I'll get around here, and then I start delaying checkpoint. Stop delaying around here, and you should get a checkpoint pretty close to the reactor room.
We need to buy some time.
Now we're gonna walk to the center here, swap out this our camo for the bubble shield, and hit this. While I'm walking to the center, I look for any combat forms and I shoot them once with the brute shot. So there's one here. I can't really see this guy, but I shoot them all once because the brute flood will always die in 1, so that's good. But the I accidentally used it there. But the elite flood is random, how many they take to die. Sometimes they die in 1, sometimes they die in like 10. But I just shoot them once to check, just in case. Throw that bubble, wait for the reactors to come out, shoot them all. And then stay in the bubble while you wait for shields. Take this guy out. You want to shoot this guy rather than melee him, because he can easily kill you if you try to melee him. But that's basically the idea. There's a lot of to reactor room. There's a lot. You need to adapt a lot, but that's the main idea. If you saw, I threw a nade at the. Have one other flood at the middle. That's definitely something you want to do. If he is there, try to nade him, try to stick him to kill him. But yeah, it's a lot of practice for that room, definitely. A lot of you just need to be good at combat. Follow this route here. This is the best route to take. You can look for any brute shot flood and kill them, because they're the only threat you have really. But other than that, just keep walking. Look for flood on the left and right here, especially Mauler flood. They're pretty much the only threat we have. Activate camo around here. And now we're gonna jump off this DC up the hole. Skip this part. Like that. I don't know, there's not much to that. Just try not, when you jump off the DC, try not to jump from like tippy top of it. Try to jump from the middle, kind of. Rather than like... Don't try to jump from the highest part, because then you're just gonna get blocked by the ceiling almost every time. Like, don't try to jump from here. Try to jump from like the middle, usually is better. So once you did the jump, by the way, you can just skip that jump. It only loses like 10 seconds or so to not do it. And or if your DC gets blown up or something, and just go the regular path. It's not a huge deal. Other than that, just follow this path. Main thing to look out for is just shotgun flood and Mauler flood at this point. They're kind of the only thing that can kill you, really. If you're in full game, at this point, you want to make sure to empty your brute shot. You want to make sure it has 0 ammo when you finish the level. And that'll cause you to not carry over to Halo, which means you have full rockets. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this level. Not too much to talk about that one. That one is a pretty simple level. Probably the easiest level on Legendary to speedrun. But hopefully it was helpful in the slightest anyway. Thanks for watching.